Property Tribes TV talking inventories now, and I'm joined by Will Moule, the founder of Kite Inventories. Will, tell us a little bit about your company, because you've had a lot of success in quite a short time, haven't you?
Well, yeah, we have. We started in 2009 with just me, myself, a dictaphone and a camera, running around London, trying my best to do as good a job as I could. And now 3 years later, we're pretty much London's market leader, carrying out somewhere in the region of 1,000 inventories per month with 20 clerks. Been very, very successful over those 3 years, and long may it continue.
Well, congratulations as well are in order, because you've been recognised by the industry as well, haven't you?
That's right. The Association of Independent Inventory Clerks, which is the governing body for our industry, recently voted Kite as their Inventory Clerk of the Year. And the reason that's so encouraging for us is it's voted for by our clients. So, our clients have had to take time out of their day to go on and actually endorse our services. So really, really pleased that we've received that award. And we also were a commended finalist in the Landlord and Letting Awards in the supplier category, up against some stiff competition. So really, really pleased to have had that award as well.
That's brilliant. Now, with all due respect, inventories aren't the most exciting of topics, and I think this is one of the reasons that perhaps landlords undervalue them. Are you finding that?
Absolutely. It's not something that I would go to the pub and talk to my mates about. It's boring. It's counting teaspoons. It's talking about stains on a carpet. It's not interesting, but it's vital. If a landlord wants to claim anything from the tenant's deposit at the end of the tenancy, he needs to have a full inventory and checkout done. So it might be boring. That's why you employ a company like us to do it, and don't do it yourself.
But also, I think you being independent and having properly trained staff means that you're going to produce an inventory that of the level of detail, because I think where a lot of inventories fail is that they don't go into that minute detail. It's not just a list of contents. You need a schedule of condition, you need documentary evidence, and that takes time and it takes training.
Yeah, absolutely right. We're an independent third party. That's one of the crucial parts of our job. We don't represent the landlord, we don't represent the tenant, we don't represent the agent. We are independent. Our findings are objective and fair. That's the whole point of the changes that were made in 2007 with the new legislation. We are employed to go and make a fair assessment of the property. So yeah, you're absolutely right.
And I think, the outcome of the tenancy is actually decided at the beginning, setting it up correctly with the correct documentation, the correct inventory, rather than a lot of people seem to think it's decided at the end, but it's not. You can actually put provisions in place to ensure a happy outcome. Yeah,
that's absolutely right. You need to get an inventory done at the start, which you mentioned a moment ago, lists everything in the property, so all the teaspoons, the cups, the appliances, bathroom shelves, absolutely everything and their condition. And then at the end of the tenancy, you need to cross-reference that to see if anything has changed, if anything has been damaged or anything is no longer in the property. And if that isn't done correctly at the start, or if it isn't done at all at the start, then the landlord has very little chance of actually making a claim from the tenant's deposit. So you're right. Some landlords will take the view that I don't need to get an inventory done, I'll just do a checkout at the end. If they do that, they're setting themselves up for a fall, because the TDS scheme will not accept a checkout if it doesn't refer to an inventory that was done at the start. The landlord must provide evidence of what the property was like at both the start and the end of the tenancy.
We've had some discussions on Property Tribes where landlords aren't doing inventories and they're not holding deposits, and I can imagine that you have seen some pretty horrendous sites of properties that have been trashed or had all the fixtures and fittings removed down to the radiators, and if people knew these stories, they'd probably take it a bit more seriously.
Yeah, they absolutely would. I mean, it's actually relatively rare that you get particularly bad instances of properties being trashed. But it does happen. We do somewhere in the region of 1,000 inspections per month with Kite. And half of those are checkouts. You'd expect there would normally be 10 to 15 instances per month of quite bad damage. And if the landlord hasn't got an inventory done, he'll have absolutely no way of actually taking some money from the deposit. So you're right, it is crucial.
It's like an insurance policy.
Exactly, that's exactly what it is. You pay £100 or so at the start of the tenancy. it may be that nothing goes wrong, but if something does go wrong, you've paid that that money, you have an insurance policy, and you'll be able to take money from the tenant's deposit. I would say it's important to point out as well, though, that it doesn't just protect the landlord; it also protects the tenant.
Very important point.
It comes from both sides. That not only can the landlord deduct money from the tenant's deposit if they've damaged something, but the tenant can also be secure in the knowledge that anything that was damaged before they moved in, they're not going to get charged for. And it's often the case that a landlord is mistaken in thinking that the property was in better condition than it was at the start of the tenancy. So both sides are covered.
I think the transparency of it is just healthy for everybody in the relationship with the property. So keep up the good work. It's been a pleasure speaking to you, and good luck with all the future things that are happening with Green Kite.
Thank you very much.
That's Will Moule, the founder of Green Kite Inventories, and we've been talking to him here at his offices in London.